大丈夫。
Okay. The file, please open the file of the chanting. お母さん、お父さん、もうちょっと前来ないと後で来る人はちょっと。The chanting file, the first one, second one, and the last one. Chanting. Sahana Bhavatu. Mita page? Mita?
3ページ。
Om Sahana Bhavatu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Saha Viryam Karavavahai. Tejasvi navadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shamno Mitra Shambarunaha. Shamno Bhavatvaryama. Shamna Indro Brihaspati. Shamno Vishnu Rurukramaha. Namo Brahmane. Namaste Vayo. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami. Ritam Vadishyami. Satyam Vadishyami. Tanmam Avatu. Tad Bhaktaram Avatu. Avatu Mam. Avatu Bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Madhuvatarhitayate madhukshara navaha. Madherna santosadihe. Madhunakta mudosasi. Madhumat parthibhagam rajaha. Madhu daurastu napitar. Madhumanno vanaspati. Madhumagyam astu suryaha. Madhirravo bhavantu naha. Om Madhu, Om Madhu, Om Madhu. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Now reading, Himanshu, you just read in English first. これちょっとマイクこっち。で、その後あなた日本語で読んでくださいね。
Heaven and Hell. A big, tough samurai once went to see a little monk. Monk, he said, in a voice accustomed to instant obedience, teach me about heaven and hell. The monk looked at this mighty warrior and replied with utter disdain, teach you about heaven and hell? I couldn't teach you about anything. You are dirty, you smell, your blade is rusty, you are a disgrace, an embarrassment to the samurai class. Get out of my sight, I can't stand you. The samurai was furious. He shook, got all red in the face, was speechless with rage. He pulled out his sword and raised it about him, preparing to slay the monk. That's hell, said the monk softly. The samurai was overwhelmed. The compassion and surrender of this little man who had offered his life to give this teaching to show him hell. He slowly put down his sword, filled with gratitude and suddenly peaceful. And that's heaven, said the monk softly.
天国と地獄。大柄で見るからに強そうな侍が小柄な僧のもとを訪ねました。侍はいつも通り人を威圧するような声で、坊主、私に天国と地獄について教えてくれと言いました。僧は屈強な侍を一別し、お前に天国と地獄について教えろだと？お前には何も教えられないよ。お前は汚いし、臭いし、お前の刀は錆びついておる。お前こそ武士の恥というもんだ。不名誉だ。今すぐ私の目の届かないところに消え失せろ。お前には我慢ならんのだ。と完全に馬鹿にしたように返事をしました。侍は激怒しました。驚きと憤怒で顔は真っ赤になり、言葉をも失いました。刀を抜き、僧に突きつけ、今にも僧を殺めようとする寸前でした。その時、僧は、それが地獄だと穏やかに言いました。武士は、この小柄な僧の慈悲の心と我が身を顧みない心に圧倒されました。自分に地獄を教えるために自らの命を投げ出したのです。武士はゆっくりと刀を下ろしました。感謝の念に満たされ、そしてにわかに平安にも満たされました。これこそ天国だと僧は静かに言いました。
おはようございます。So you are all welcome to our discourse spiritual retreat satsang today.
皆様本日の霊会へようこそ。
So today's topic is what is common to all yogas.
今日のテーマはすべてのヨガの共通点について話します。
Now, as you all know that yoga has become quite popular throughout the world.
皆さんはご存知かと思いますが、ヨガは世界中人気を詰まっています。
And even the UNO has declared one day as International Yoga Day.
そして国連も、国際ヨガ日を、声明しました。
And many countries, they observe this day by practicing yoga.
そして、世界のさまざまな国の中でこの日を祝うためにヨガを実践します。
Even the Muslim countries and then communist countries, they also do some sort of yoga to observe that International Yoga Day.
イスラム国でしたり、共産党の国でも、ヨガを実践しています。
However, there is a little bit difference. For example, there is one Surya Namaskar. You know, those who know yoga, there is a practice Surya Namaskar. That means salutation to the sun god, and it consists of different postures. I mean, which by doing you can movement of the whole body is possible if you follow that those postures of Surya Namaskar.
しかし、一つの、そういう点がございまして、スーリアナマスカルという一連の、ポーズがあるんですけれども、太陽様に敬礼する、という名前ですが、全身を動かすポーズになっております。
Now, so far I know, China has objection to that type of Surya Namaskar because it's after all some sort of association with some religion. So they object to this or some chanting of Om because it has also some association with some spiritual practice. Otherwise, everything is fine. Only don't use this type. You may practice those without calling it Surya Namaskar. So, because it has some association with religion. So, otherwise it's quite okay, and they think it's quite helpful for the people.
ただし、中国ではその太陽を礼拝するということが宗教的なイメージがあったり、あとオウムというのも宗教の、意味があるからそれ少し懸念してるんですけれども、他はそれを唱えないで実践しても構いません。
Now, it is quite interesting. When I came to Japan, you know, I had some idea about Japan because I was a student of history. By reading the history of Japan, we have some ideas. But, you know, reading and actually the actual experience of the country, when you visit it, you have the actual experience of the country. You know how different it is. Your academic knowledge of a country and when you really visit a country, how different these two things are. So when I came to Japan, many things what I thought about Japan and what I saw in Japan are different.
マハラジは日本に来る前に少し歴史を勉強したことがあったので、日本の歴史とかイメージを持っていたんですけれども、実際にその国を訪れて、見ると自分が頭の中で作ってたイメージとだいぶ違うこともありますので、マハラジがここに来た時にいろいろ思ってたことと違うことに出会いました。
One example is this in some books. we saw the picture of a Japanese lady, very cute, wearing kimono and having that very colorful umbrella. So when I came to Japan, I thought, I'll see all the ladies wearing kimono and then using that colorful umbrella, but far from it. You see, only on rare occasions, maybe when they're adults, you see, the girls become adult, then there is ceremony. So that time many of them wear kimono or some special celebration. Otherwise, I thought there are some ladies here, Japanese ladies, I don't see any one of them in kimono. Rather, I see Indian ladies, they're wearing shadi. So anyway, so this is one thing I say what I saw in picture or what I read, and when I actually visited this country, see so much differences are there. Just one example.
その一例として、写真で、日本人の女性は、綺麗な着物を着て、あと彩りの日傘も差して歩いている。でマハラジは日本に来たら日本の女性みんなそういう格好をしてると思っていたんですけれども、ほとんど見かけず、成人式とか特別な儀式だけの時に着てるということに出会いましたので、少し。
Well, this is my personal view. Definitely, the Japanese ladies look more beautiful in kimono than in Western dress. This is my personal opinion.
個人的な思う試験ですけれども、日本人の女性は制服を着るよりも着物を着た時により美しく華やかに見えます。
めんどくさいですけれども。Okay, now the another thing, this yoga. So in India we all pronounce it as yoga. Bengalis call it yoga. But in Japan, when I came here, I heard the pronunciation is different. They pronounce that yoga. So I was surprised why this yoga should be yoga. Because actually by using that word, you see, it's meant that it's something physical. So I never imagined that this should be some difference in that, in the pronunciation and meaning also different. Yoga is actually what we in India used to it, the spiritual yoga. But now in India also, they are using this word, pronouncing that way, yoga. And the moment they pronounce that as a yoga, means it's a physical thing. And when it is yoga, then it is spiritual. So this difference was quite amusing to me. Anyway, so now it has been quite popular in that way. They all pronounce it yoga. And in India also another thing, we don't use this word yoga when it is meant something physical. We always use this physical part as pranayama and asana. Asana and pranayama. And asana actually is a yoga asana. So actually in India we are used to that, to hear that particular word, familiar with that, yoga asana, pranayama. But now that yoga asana is not used, and the pranayama is also of course there. Now we use a new word, that's yoga. So it's quite actually to us the Indians, at least in our generation, it's quite confusing. But nowadays in India also they use this word, pronounce in this way, yoga, to denote something physical, as hatha yoga like that. And the physical part they used to call also in another way, hatha yoga. So hatha yoga or asana, yoga asana, pranayama, so use this type of words. But in foreign countries, they all use this word yoga to denote the physical side of it, and the spiritual side of it, they rather say Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga in that way, and not yoga only.
So they're borrowing the American pronunciation, Maharaj? That yoga.
So that I know what pronunciation, how it, but
Yeah, the Americans say yoga.
yoga. So
Maybe from that. もう一つそういう点として日本にいらした時に、日本人は結構ヨガを実践されていると見てるんですけれども、このヨガというのはあくまでも体に関するポーズですけれども、インドではヨガの方がスピリチュアリティ、修行、霊的な実践との結びつきがあって、で体のことを指定してない。体のポーズとかいう時にハタヨガでしたり、アシャナ、プラナヤマ、
yoga asana.
ヨガアシャナ。
And they also use, those who practice and spiritual practice, they call yogi.
ヨギ。
And yogi means mostly the spiritual side of it. But some of the yogis also do this type of pranayama and do some, with prana, using the prana, they do some miracles, show some miracles also, like floating in the air and like that, all these things. But otherwise, yoga, yogi, these things are quite common in India.
はい、霊的な修行をする方もヨギと呼ぶんですけれども、霊的な修行と限らず、例えばプラナを操って、超能力を使ってウに、浮いたりとか奇跡を起こしたりすることもありますけれども、今はインド人もこのヨガをで体の実践、として指しておりまして、霊的な修行を、指すときにラジャヨガ、カルマヨガとか使っています。
But it is quite disheartening that most of the people, those who practice this physical yoga, so they have no idea that yoga actually means something moral and spiritual. They have no idea at all. And many of them are not interested also in that.
しかし残念ながらこの体のヨガを実践する人たちはほとんど本来のヨガの意味は、道徳的とスピリチュアルな実践と関連することを知らないし興味ないそうです。
Then what is the practice, what is the purpose of the practice of this physical aspect of yoga? As you know, mostly how to iki, yoku, nagaiku, yoku, nagaiku. So that means to live well and to live long. So these are the two main purposes of practicing this yoga in foreign countries. How to live long and how to live healthy, I should say.
海外では主な目的としてより健康で、長く、よく生きられるために実践されています。
When this yoga was slowly becoming popular, I think mainly with the Beatles, they made some sort of familiarity. Then, Hollywood, there's a hub of film industry in USA, and in Hollywood there is also Ramakrishna Mission Center, Vedanta Society, and then some film actors and film actresses, they were interested in this yoga. The purpose is that how, when there is aging, naturally there will be wrinkles in their face. So how to stop it how the skin will look bright, how to stop aging. That was the purpose that made them interested in practicing this yoga.
60年代ではビートルズという人気なバンドがありまして、メンバーたちもヨガに興味があったから、他の人たちは知ることになって人気が集まりました。で、ホリウッドでもその有名な映画のところなんですけれども、ラマクリスタミッションのセンターもがあって、そちらにはホリウッドの、俳優さんが、ヨガを勉強に行ってたんですけれども、目的が年取ると皮膚にシワが出たりするので、それを防ぐために、あとお肌をもっと美しく見えるための実践したかったからです。
Because body is their greatest capital, as you know, actor and actresses. Body is, of course, there's some special talent is also necessary, but basic thing is this body. So that's why naturally they are interested in that, how to achieve that purpose.
そして彼らにとって一番、価値のあるものは自分たちの体ですから大切にしたい。
And the purpose of meditation was also like that. That if you make meditation, then your mind will be calm, and then you see, as I said, it will stop your aging and like that. So basically, it's not that spiritual realization of God, Satchidananda, nothing. That was also mainly practice for that, so that, as I say, looks more calm, beautiful, and stops aging. So not only that asana, but even meditation. So 10 minutes meditation will help them so that there's no tension and the face becomes does not look tense. So all this, motivated by some thing which is secular, basically.
ポーズだけでなく瞑想を行うことによって心が落ち着き、顔にもその穏やかさが現れてきます。ストレスがないとか、その美しく見せるための主な目的でしたり、あと、高齢化をできるだけ遅らせるとか防止する、でも霊的な修行、悟りとは関係ありませんでした。
Ashish, you are such an important member who are sitting in the back. Come here. And then tell me, I ask you this question, how this, though basically the sages of ancient sages of India, they are really interested in leading a spiritual life, in realizing Atman, in realizing Brahman, then in what connection this pranayama and then asana, yogasana, it actually appeared. These practices of this asana, yogasana, pranayama, what's the connection between the spiritual practice and these physical practices? So this is my question. Though basically their purpose was spiritual realization, but these are different types of asana and the pranayama. They are mostly it has the physical aspects. So how they connected these two things? This is my question to you.
そして皆様にお聞きしたことがあります。昔の古代インドの聖者たちは、ヨガを実践する目的は、霊的な修行を経てブラフマン、アートマンを悟ることでしたが、彼らもプラナヤマとヨガアサナを作りましたが、その何のために作りましたか。もともとの目的は神様を悟る でしたのに、どうしてこの、身体的なプラナヤマとかヨガアシャナを作りました。
Because actually they are two opposing things. The more you want to be spiritual, the less you should think about body. Isn't it? So how are you combining these two things? That means if you give more attention to body, naturally you give less attention to the spirit. So then this is my question. I believe you understand my question. So is it not contradictory? That means though their purpose is spiritual, but at the same time they are focusing also on the body. So please, justどうぞ。
これは相反するように思いますが、霊的な修行を進めば進むほど、霊的なことだけを考えて、できるだけ体のことを考えないようにしないといけないのに、どうしてプラナヤマとヨガアシャナを実践していたんですか？
In Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, just there is asana and pranayama, but that's not the main thing. It's just a sort of simple practice, but later on became so many types of evolving asana, so many types of pranayama. It's not in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So asana, you see why? You see, so that you can sit a long time comfortably without moving any part of your body. That's the main purpose of the practice of asana according to Patanjali. Not so many different types of asana is not at all mentioned in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So basic purpose is how you can think about it's a spiritual thing by sitting a long time and without moving any part of your body. That's why he recommended this practice of asana. Okay, so now tell me, and how? What's the connection between these two?
So I'll translate more.
Okay.
でパタンジャリヨガスートラの中に、プラナヤマとヨガアシャナについて、ほんの少しの言及がありますが、パタンジャリの後はだいぶ発展されましたが、パタンジャリヨガスートラではこの座るときに姿勢を長く楽に、維持するための実践だけで、そのおかげで神様のことももっとよく考えることができるためでした。
長く。So, Ashish, what is your reply?
For asana, Maharaj, as you said, basically it is for to be able to sit for long without the body being uncomfortable.
But so many asanas are there. Basically true. So that's my question is this.
But for pranayama, Maharaj, so for pranayama, there's something, what I read, there's something called nadi shuddhi. So that is sometimes necessary before we can go. So for pranayama, something called nadi shuddhi is there, which is maybe needed for before we can awaken the kundalini or go into deep meditation. So,
No, pranayama is as you say, pranayama, they are in India also, for the spiritual practitioners, they do a little bit so that makes their mind calm and quiet before meditation. So Patanjali is also, that was the one of the main purposes. But how it developed in so many types of asana, so many types of pranayama, Brahmari pranayama, so many types of pranayama, you know, so many things are there. So what's the connection? How it evolved?
I don't know.
Huh? Anyone? Kedar? Have you any answer?
So as they say, sound mind in a sound body. So it's very important to have a good body, and it's not the outward appearance of the body. Internally also, the asanas cleans the body.
It's not, it's not, 聞こえない、これ。
Okay, is it? Yeah, now it's audible. So, body doesn't have to be outwardly clean, it has to be inwardly clean also. And a clean body will help in meditation far better. And with that, you can practice meditation far more effectively in a sound body. So, that's why, along with the spiritual side of it, it's also important to keep the body healthy.
Okay, any other answer? Okay.
Maybe it
Himanshu.
also helps in sense.
Just please your time.
I think asana is like a beginner's practice for a spiritual practitioner because it will help in sense control, which is important. And I think the physical aspect is slightly easier to control before we go to control of the mental aspect. That's more subtle, difficult to control.
翻訳してください。
あ、
翻訳
Yes. Child from Ashish. So Ashish は彼が座を座ってる姿勢を長く保つためとプラナヤマを行うことによってナリスッティ神経系をきれいにすることによってより落ち着いた形で瞑想に実践に取り組むことができ、あとクンダリニが上がったりサマーデに入ることができる。でケダールさんは、健全な心は健全な体に宿るということを主張して、体の外だけではなく内部をきれいにすることによって、瞑想の効率が上がる。で最後は、ハタヨガとか行うことによって、体と感覚をコントロールすることができます。こちらは初心者が行うべきもので、体をコントロールできれば心をよりよくコントロールすることができるからです。
Himanshu-san? You told? He answered?
Yes, that's the last one.
No, sir.
Your name, sir? Your good name, sir?
Himanshu.
Yes.
Himanshu-san. Anyway, you see, the main reason why actually it happened, that is to realize the Atman, or to realize God, or to realize Brahman, or to realize the truth, whatever words you use. So, it needs a long time to practice. So, it cannot just happen suddenly. Because why it's a long time it's needed to practice, even for, you see, mastering some music or some dance, you know how long it needs time to practice. So, say flower arrangement, so for many years, sometimes the tea ceremony, for years they have to learn. Now this spiritual experience, which is the highest experience, and the effects are also greatest, to achieve the spiritual goal also needs a long, arduous practice. It cannot be achieved in a short time. Now the thing is this, for this spiritual practice, and this is number one, long spiritual practice. And another thing, body is sick, as Kedar also told, body is sick, then naturally you cannot meditate or you cannot do spiritual practice. So body itself becomes a bar, to obstacle to this side of spiritual practice. So two things are there, healthy life and long life. So that is the connection. Because goal is spiritual illumination, and because it cannot be achieved in a short time, number one. And again, if the body is sick, then you cannot do spiritual practice. So then they wanted to make their body strong, healthy, and so that they can also live long. But basic purpose is this spiritual realization. Now what happened? So, okay.
竜は、アートマン、神様、真理などを悟るために、長い修練が必要ですが、例えば、茶道でしたり、生け花でしたり、それを取得するために何年間もかけて、取得しますが、霊的修行の最終目的は、神様を悟るですから最高の目標ですので非常に時間がかかります。からできるだけ、体を、健康に保って、長い時間と長生きして練習できるようにしております。もし体が病気になったら修行ができなくなり、体自体は悟りへの障害となります。
Then another feature of these Indian sages, whatever subject they would take up for study or investigation, they would go to the last. I mean, no halfway, something, anything which is halfway through like that. So, a separate branch of this developing making the body healthy and then living long, it developed, which is known as Hatha Yoga. Now the problem is this, when Hatha Yoga became itself I should say subsidiary yoga, developed as a subsidiary yoga, then what is the negative side of it? When they focus on this Hatha Yoga and give it too much focus, then the main purpose, they deviate from the main purpose, the path of the main purpose of spiritual practice. And then again their body becomes all in all to them. So their whole mind is focused on how to make the body healthy and how to live long. So then again you see there is a deviation from the right path. So in two different ways. So that's another I should say pitfall of this type of practice of Hatha Yoga. So what our intention is this: yes, to some extent one should practice this yogasana and pranayama to make the body healthy and to live long and to control the mind to some extent. But one should never lose sight of the main purpose of this. That is the realization of one's Atman, one's real nature, or realization of God. So that's why one should be very, one should be aware of these pitfalls and then obstacles while practicing these asanas and pranayamas and Hatha Yoga like that.
そして、古代の聖者たちはあるテーマや分野を研究するときに中途半端ではなくてその全体像を見極めるまでに、研究をつけた。で、そもそもハタヨガというのは、修行の、副産物でしたり二次的なものとして誕生したんですけれども、やがて一時的なものになり、本来の目標からすなわち、悟りから、逸脱して、で、その意味で体に集中しすぎると、 落とし穴になってしまいます。もちろん体を健康を保つために実践してもいいんですが、本来の目的、それは悟り、アルマンを悟ること、自己実現することを忘れてはなりません。
Now, what this yoga actually means? What's the meaning of this particular word yoga? Do you know? Just yoga, what does it mean? Union, yoga. Now, this union of what? Union of Atman and Paramatman, individual self with the Supreme Self, or you may say Bhakta and Bhagavan, devotee and God. So this union of these two. So yoga, the purpose of yoga is this union of individual self with the Supreme Self, or union of devotee with the God. So this is the goal. And yoga does not stop here. It also gives, it also recommends, it also suggests the different methods to realize that goal. So both. See, yoga includes both. It means the union of Atman and Paramatman, and at the same time the methods how to realize that goal.
では皆様にお聞きします。ヨガの意味とは何でしょうか。シワニさんは、ユニオン、融合するという意味ですとご答えになった。それは、何と融合するんですか。個人的な魂、アートマとパラマートマ、神様との融合、あるいは信者とその真愛なる神様、バカバンとの融合です。このヨガはその融合だけでなく、その目的だけでなく、その方法、についても、いろいろ教えてくれる。
Now, to many persons who have no idea of what is Atman, what is Brahman, what is Paramatman, then no interest in Bhakta and Bhagavan. So for them, they can appreciate easily, they can understand easily, and I think it will have they get some more motivation. If I just put it in that way, that yoga is an ideal way of life. How do you say? Yoga is an ideal way of life. Do you think is it more catchy, or I should say more easily understandable? What do you say?
神様、パラマートマン、ブラフマンなどよくわからない方々、に対して、ヨガとは理想的な生活を送るための方法として、紹介すればどうですか。わかりやすいでしょうか。
So ideal, as I say, way of life. Then why, you see, how it can be an ideal way of life? Because this life will lead to some goals which everyone wants. And what are those? Those who have some experience of real life. I should say not those young boys and girls in their 20s. So I say generally an average in their 40s, those who have some actual experience of life, they know that some things are most important for their life. Money is of course necessary, dress is necessary, relatives, family is necessary, house is necessary. But at the same time, very, very important thing is this: how one can get the greatest greatest joy, because everyone wants joy. No one wants sorrow and suffering. So everyone wants joy. So how to get the greatest joy? This is one. Number two, peace, mental peace. Everyone has some experience, some joys, and some peace. Problem is this peace is not steady. So this moment you get peace, next moment you see, feel there's loss of peace, lack of peace. So this is also another thing they want to achieve, how to have a steady peace. And number three, you see, everyone wants to know knowledge. Everyone, you see, loves knowledge. Then what is the supreme knowledge? That also I think everyone would be interested in that, how to gauge that supreme knowledge. Now the fourth one, everyone is so much full of tension and fears, including the fear of death. So how to become fearless? Does not everyone want to know how I can become fearless so that I am not afraid of anything? I am free from all fears. Everyone wants it. And finally, freedom. Everyone wants freedom. But they think sometimes they're chained by so many things. They're bound in so many ways. In some cases by the law, in some cases by the society, in some cases by the family, in some cases by their mind itself. Mind itself becomes the chain of the soul. So they think sometimes they are so bound, they are so much tied down that they want, become restless. How to become free? So this absolute freedom, I think basically these are the things everyone wants, isn't it? First, as I say, how can I get greatest joy? How can I get steady peace? How can I get the supreme knowledge, highest knowledge? Then how I can become fearless? And finally, how can I become absolute freedom? Then no one will control me. So these 5 purposes will be fulfilled if one, by this I mean an ideal way of life, ideal life. And yoga shows the way how to achieve this ideal life. That's why I'm telling yoga is the ideal way of life. So first you understand what is ideal life, then next you think how to get it, how to achieve it. The only way to achieve this goal of ideal life is yoga.
そして今皆様はある目的に向かって生活しているんですけれども、だいたい20代の方々はまだ人生というものはよく理解してない、いろいろ体験してないから理解してないけれども、40代になりますと、本当に人生というものかよく分かってきたので、これに関して興味が深くなるでしょう。もちろんお金を稼いだり家族を育てたり家を買ったりすることも大事ですけれども、大体皆様は5つのことを、願って探求しています。1つ目は最高の幸せ、至福を願っています。2つ目は心の平安が欲しい。時々心が安定しているんですけれども、時には不安定。山と谷があるので、それをなくしたい。3番目は知識を探求したい。もっと知りたいので、最高の知識を得たい。4番目は恐れ、死に対する恐れもなくしたい。無恐怖、恐れを知らない状態になりたい。5番目は自由になりたい。時には自分はひどく束縛されていると思い込んでるかもしれない。例えば、牢屋に入ってるから束縛されてる。家族に束 されている。あと、自分の心に呪縛されている。これらの束縛から全部自由になりたい。誰にも呪縛されたくない。という5つの探求があります。これらの5つを実現するための唯一の方法はヨガです。ヨガっていうのは先ほどご紹介したように、理想的な生活を送ることです。それを実現するためのまず、理解度を高める必要があります。
Now, you have heard different types of yoga's names, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Now, if I say, will you think me parochial or sectarian if I say all the religions, because here our Christian devotees there, Hindu devotees are there, Buddhist devotees are here, of course no Muslim I think, anyway. So if I say like that, all religions are but yogas, will you object to it? And you see the head you are moving, but you are all Hindus. But here you say for example, Leonardo Alvarez's son. So he actually is a Catholic. So Leo, what's about that? Will you object to it if I say Christianity also is a yoga?
I'm a Catholic Vedantist, Maharaj.
But still you have to hang your photo of Jesus in your room.
Yeah, he's also
yes,
here,
harmony
Maharaj.
of yoga. It is here also true. So then, what do you say? If I say that all religions are, whatever it may be, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all are but different types of yoga. Have you an objection to it?
Shall I translate, Maharaj?
あ
もし私はすべての宗教、ヒンズー教だけでなく、イスラム教、キリスト教、ユダヤ教、仏教、すべてヨガの道であると、言っても、こちらの発言は偏狭的な考え方のではないかという非難の声があるでしょうか。私が言ってることは正しいでしょうか。反対する人がいるでしょうか。
Kedar, what do you say?
I don't have an objection, but it's difficult to understand how all the religions are in the same way.
I am not talking of the way. I am talking of this basic concept, yoga.
Yes, but will the people of other religion be okay with that kind of philosophy? That is what I don't understand.
No, once you understand that it's a union, so Christianity is not a, do they also don't seek this type of union?
Yes.
Don't they seek?
Yes.
That they want to be one with Jesus?
Yes.
What do you say, Leo?
Yes.
That's just a union. Then the Muslims, they don't want to be one with Allah.
Yes.
They don't want to be feel to be with always with Allah. So in that, if you understand it, so that's what I'm telling. In that sense, every religion is yoga. Though methods are different. Once you understand the meaning of yoga, then I think there will no one will object to it. Yes, it's also basically it's yoga.
ケダールさんの、答えは、もしかしたらそれぞれの宗教、に所属している人々が、自分の宗教と他の人の宗教は同じ道であると、認識しないかもしれないが、ポイントはそれではなくて、すべては合一に向かっている。例えばキリスト教の方々はイエス様と合一したい、融合したい。イスラム教の方々はアラと一体になりたいとか、その意味でヨガです。それを理解すれば誤解がないでしょう。
Not only that, these 5, as I say, purposes of an ideal life. Whatever one's religion may be. Every devotee do not they want this type of things? As I said, just 5 goals of an ideal life. They also wanted to be, they want to experience joy, highest joy, supreme joy, then steady peace. Is there an exception to it? So that's why I'm telling that in that sense, everyone is actually talks about the same yoga, though they use the different words and terminology, or terms.
それ自体を指す言葉が異なるかもしれないが、すべての宗教の、実践者は同じ至福でしたり、心の平安でしたり、同じ目的に向かって、取り組んでいます。
Now, what are these yogas? Actually, in traditional India, there are 4 yogas: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. And then each chapter of Bhagavad Gita, for example, is also yoga. No? So at the end of each chapter, it's the yoga and Upanishad. So then there is Hatha Yoga, then there is other Japa Yoga. So many yogas are there. And at the same time, in a comprehensive sense, the other religions are also yoga. Now, why this different? Why so many different types of yogas are necessary? Why so many different ways of fulfilling the purpose of life are necessary?
伝統的には、4つのヨガがあります。ラジャヨガ、カルマヨガ、ギャナヨガと、バクティヨガですね。さらに、ギーターの各章も18章あるんですけども、それぞれヨガですね。あと、ハタヨガ、ジャパヨガと、他宗教も、ヨガの道の一つとして数えると、非常に数が多いんですが、どうしてこの理想的な生活を送るための、そんなにヨガが必要ですか？
Now, one thing in Kinishicho, some yoga, some sort of discourse was there, arranged by some groups. So, one question was put to me beforehand that Swamiji's these 4 yogas, how it came into being. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Now many people do not know. Many people think Swamiji wrote these books. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, these 4 books were written by Swami Vivekananda.
ある日、マハラジが錦糸町でヨガのグループの前で講演された時に質問がありました。スワミ・ビベカナンダが書いた4つのヨガの本の、由来は何ですか？どうして 4つにしましたか？
Because that group, some of them were the members of Yoga Ryoho Gakkai, the biggest yoga group in Japan, Yoga Therapy Association, and they had to study these 4 yogas to pass some certificate examination as a yoga teacher. So that's why they are interested to ask this, to know this. These 4 yogas, how it came into being.
その質問のいきさつは、彼らがヨガ療法学会のメンバーでこの4つの本を勉強して資格を取らなければならないからです。
So, do you know how it came into being?
皆さん。
Ashish, what are... Okay. Because this is very interesting question, because many do not know what's the background.
So, for example,
Why it's not sound? Okay.
For example,
Mic, just switch off, I mean. Switch off. Okay.
So, for example, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, I think that maybe there's just collection of lectures of Swamiji, so he did not write on his own. But for Raja Yoga, maybe Bhakti Yoga also, but for Raja Yoga, I think it is he gave some lectures and then his interpretation of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras.
Yes.
But
So-
I don't know what was the reason for collecting them only in these particular 4 groups.
Okay. So, アシスさんの言う答えは、シャミ・ビベカン本当はこれ例えばギャナヨガカルマヨガ本当は本書いてなかったです。これあちこち話これ一つ本の中にこれ後で入れて名前がバクティヨガ例えばカルマヨガですけど一つ例外あります。ギャナヨガラジャヨガはこれパタンジャリヨガストラの、説明シャミベガンダちょっと何が言って他の方は書いてましたですね。説明しました他の方は書いてます。でそれがこれ本当はこれシャミベガンダので書いてなかったですね。Okay, so he's partially almost true what he said, but the thing is this. Swami Vivekananda actually did not give these names, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, to his books. What happened? He surely gave talks on Karma Yoga, he gave talks on Jnana, he gave talks on Bhakti, and he gave talks on Patanjali's Yoga Sutra meditation. And later on, see, he is all the wherever because he gave talks, for example, on Jnana in different places. Now, those talks were compiled and given the title, this Jnana Yoga. So this is how it came into being. Then Karma Yoga also same thing. He gave talks on Karma and of course he mentioned this word Karma Yoga. But it was not that he himself wrote that books and compiled it. It was compiled later on and given this title, Karma Yoga. Then Bhakti Yoga also, he also explained like that. And some of the talks. And Raja Yoga, it's a combination of both. The first few chapters, he actually gave talks. Prana and prana, all these things. Then details of meditation. And then later on, the second part of that book is actually the explanation of the aphorisms of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. But this the title of the book was given later on, Raja Yoga. So many people do not actually know how these books evolved in that way. And later it became quite popular with these 4 names, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga.
スワミ・ビベカナンダは、講演された時に4つのヨガについて話されたんですけれども、彼自身はその4つの本に分けて書いたわけではなくて、後ほど、彼の講演の記録全部編集された時にそのタイトルが付けられましたので、同じテーマを話した時に例えばカルマヨガ、バクティヨガ、ギャナヨガ、にしました。ラジャヨガは前半は彼が講演で話された内容、プラナーとプラナヨガの話と、後半はパタンジャリヨガスートラの注釈と翻訳の本になりましたが、その元々の名前はパタンジャリヨガスートラの解説でした。後ほどラジャヨガになりました。そういう記述があります。
Now this question is why so many yogas are recommended or is discussed. The main reason is to be very brief, that each person, as you know, aptitude and tests are different. then each person's spiritual power is different. Just Sri Ramakrishna explained it by using a very easy to understand example. Let's say said the mother has 4 children, and each child's taste, aptitude, what is fond of a particular preparation, so his fondness, and then his power of digestion is different. So mother makes the preparation with fish in different ways so that it suits the taste and the power of digestion of each child. So she makes some curry with rich spices, someone simple curry, then someone just fry, someone boiled. So as you know, in every case, in our food, in our dress, everything, each person has different choice, isn't it? And their likings are fondness are different, and at the same time their power also is different. Each one has not the same physical power. So to suit everyone to this, for the spiritual practice, because each one has different aptitudes and then spiritual difference in spiritual power, so to suit them, all these different yogas methods are prescribed. That's the rationale of it.
ではどうしてそんなに数多いのヨガが必要ですか？答えは、人それぞれの霊的な能力とその人の性格と好みと嫌いが分かれているので、みんな同じ道を歩むことができない。で、スリラマクリスナは分かりやすい例を挙げて、例えばあるお母さんは4人の子供がいて、好き嫌いが分かれているから、例えば魚を調理するときにできるだけ消化しやすくしたいから、ある子供は熱いの結構スパイスが入った魚が好きなのでそれを作ってあげるが、他の人はもっと野菜が食べたかったり、あと素質な、作り方でシンプルで作って食べやすくするとか、でそういうふうに私たちも同じ能力と好き嫌いが分かれてるから、たくさんのヨガの道があります。
So for example, the devotees who are more emotional nature, so for them bhakti yoga is recommended. That means they should direct their love or emotion not to something which is temporary, but to something which is eternal. So they should direct their love, which is so far directed only towards their family, should be now directed to God. So in that way they can transcend their emotion, transcend their love, and at the same time they can realize God.
例えば感情的、情熱的な人は、その感情を一時的な対象、例えば家族などではなく永遠の対象、神様に向けることによって一時的なものへの感情はそれを浄化して超越的な目的につなぐという。
So for them bhakti yoga is recommended.
その人たちはバクティヨガを実践すべく。
Then some people are so much, you see, they are focused on work. Sometimes this word is used, workaholic. So much focused on work that even for a moment, though it's not necessary really, but even they cannot, one moment they can live without any work. So all the time, even if they work, there's no work, they search for something. And then some work. Otherwise, you see, they don't think they can live peacefully. Now, for this type of people, those who are so much focused on work, for them, what is recommended? This karma yoga. And what's the way? The way is that, yes, you work, but work without expecting anything from others. Always work with the spirit of serving others. And work as an agent of God, as an instrument of God. So these two main things. So no problem, that means you work. So it's not that you should give up the work. Do it. Only remember two things. First of all, work in the spirit of service. Don't expect any return from your work. And number two, work as an agent or instrument of God. So associate your work with God. When you do work, you think you are working for God. Then for the result you depend on God. Then you work to please the God, and whatever result is there, you finally surrender to God. So in that way, work as an agent of God, work for God. So these are the two main recommendations for those who are so much focused on work, and this is what is the gist of Karma Yoga.
そしていつも仕事している人、一瞬でも仕事をしないでいられない人、英語で workaholic という言葉はあるんですけれども、仕事しないと落ち着かない人に対してカルマヨーガが勧められていますが、今まで仕事は自分のためしてたですけれども、今後見返りのことを考えないで、すべて他人への奉仕、あるいは神様の奉仕として考えて行うべきです。自分は神の道具として考えて、神様といつもつないでいる状態で仕事をする。で、その結果を放棄する。
Then the third type of person who wants to live quietly, does not like the company of other people, is more fond of leading a solitary life and is fond of thinking. So for them, or say meditative type of people, for them the Raja Yoga is recommended. Then Raja Yoga, what is the basic practice of it? And the basic practice of it is control of mind and senses, and then focus on the mind, the origin of mind, from where the thought comes. And then in that way you can realize the truth. So I repeat, control of senses and mind, and basically go deep into the study deeply the nature of mind and the origin of mind.
そして、静かにいたい人、他の人とあんまり喋りたくない、人里と離れたところにいたい人、あと自分の思考の世界によく、ふけやすい人たちはラジャヨーガが勧められております。実践方法として心と感覚のコントロールで、心の、に浮かんでくる考え、思考の源を深く、観察して分析することです。
Then the fourth one is that those people who are has an analytical type of mind, who wants to know the real nature of everything, for them the Jnana Yoga is recommended. So Jnana Yoga, what their basic practice is this, that means they always try to discriminate what is apparent and the real. That's most important for the Jnana Yogi, because they want to know the true nature of it, of everything. So then always try to discriminate what is apparent and what is real, what is relative, what is absolute, what is non-eternal and what is eternal. So their way of is discrimination, and then focusing on the reality. So that's the practice of the and that is what is called Jnana Yoga. So for those type of people, as I say, who have an analytical mind and those who want to always go to the to the root of everything, for them this Jnana Yoga is recommended. So in that way, you see, each people has defined as one type of temperament, and also power of spiritual power, how much spiritual power of understanding they have. So it accordingly their way of practicing yoga differs.
最後に分析的な考え方を持つ人、例えばすべてのことのあるいは物の本当の姿、本性を知りたい、深く掘り下げる人が、見せかけのもの、蜃気楼のようなものと真実を見極めるとか、永遠のものと永遠じゃないのものを見極める、実践をしてずっと真理に集中する、実践の仕方ですね。こちらはギャーナヨガとなります。このように、人それぞれの霊的な能力と、気質、好み嫌いなどによってさまざまなヨガに分かれて、好きなヨガを実践して、自分に一番適合しているヨガを選んで実践すべきです。
Now, there is another yoga which combines all these four yogas. That's a yoga of union, samanya yoga of harmony. Yoga of harmony, with that which harmonizes all these four yogas. That means karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, and raja yoga. So some people may just, want to test different types of food, and because they think that's more interesting than to just test one type of food. So they are more, fond of practicing these different types of yoga, but not to the extreme, but some portions of it, of each yoga, they want to practice. So in that way, they prefer to practice all these yogas to some extent, and we call it the yoga of harmony, samanya yoga. And I shall explain to you by showing pictures of the Ramakrishna Mission's monogram, that how Swamiji blends all these four yogas in the monogram of Ramakrishna Mission.
もう一つのヨガすべてを合一した調和したヨガがありますが、例えばある人は一つの、食事だけではなくていろんな単品を味見して楽しみたい人がいますが、そのような人たちは、例えばいろんなヨガを少しでも実践したい。それはサマンニャヨガと、申しまして、スワミ・ヴィベカナンダはそれらのすべてのヨガを調和した道を、表現した、ラマクリスナミッションの表彰を、描きましたので、これからマハラジが皆様にお見せします。少々お待ちくださいませ。お母さん後ろ。
So I show you, this is the monogram of Ramakrishna Mission. I don't know where you know the explanation of it, this monogram. So in this monogram, what are the things here? First of all, you see the serpent. Do you see? The serpent, is it visible? Can you see it?
Heavy.
Sophia?
Cobra.
So there is serpent. Then the rising sun. Sun, there's a red, the rising sun. And then you see there is a wave there are waves,
海の波。
ocean, and then at the bottom, what do you see? A lotus. Do you see a lotus?
ハスの花。
And then there is in
そう。
the middle of it, a swan.
白鳥。
So, is it? Do you understand by seeing the pictures? So, I repeat: snake, then sun,
暁。
then lotus,
ハスの花。
and then waves, and
Middle
then snake, sun, waves, lotus, and the swan.
白鳥。
Now, each one is a symbolic.
それぞれ
Each.
に意味があります。
The first of all, the snake. Do you know what is the snake stands for?
蛇の意味は何でしょうか。
Snake stands for what?
Ashish mentioned it before.
Okay. Now let me ask. What's the serpent stands for? Snake stands for?
Raja Yoga.
Raja Yoga. So because the Kundalini aspect is there, Kundalini in Raja Yoga, at the back of our spine, at the bottom of our spine, there is a spiritual power which is called Kundalini. It is coiled. As the snake coils itself. So in that way, our spiritual power is coiled at the bottom of our spine. So that's called Muladhara. And the 6 chakras is called Muladhara chakra. And then, when with the spiritual practice, it slowly rises and crosses different chakras through the spine and finally reaches where? In the brain or in the head, where the Supreme God is, Supreme Self is there, or Shiva is there, and it's united with it. And when it is united, then there is Samadhi. So this is a symbol of Raja Yoga, because Raja Yoga mentions about it. Then the sun. Okay.
蛇っていうのはそのラージャヨーガの意味です。クンダリンの意味もあるんですけれども、クンダリンは私たちの筋の一番下のチャクラ、ブラダラチャクラにて、トグルの状態で眠っていますが、霊的な実践によってそれを目覚まして上がっていきます。それぞれのチャクラを通って最終的に頭の上部のチャクラにたどり着いてサマディに入って神様と合一します。
Then the next one is the sun. The sun, what happens? If there is sun, then darkness, naturally disappears. With the rise of the sun, then actually the darkness of the night, it actually disappears and there is light. So here, it symbolizes Jnana Yoga. Because with the dawn of knowledge, the ignorance disappears. So that's the connection. Jnana Yoga is the knowledge. So with the knowledge, because we are deluded because of our ignorance, so once there is a dawn of knowledge of the truth, then the ignorance of darkness will be dispelled, will disappear. So then this Jnana Yoga is symbolized by the sun.
そして、太陽ですね。太陽が昇ると夜の暗闇が消えてしまいます。こちらはギャナヨーガのシンボルで、知識の火が昇っていくと無知の暗闇が消え失せてしまいます。
Then there are waves. Waves, what the waves symbolize?
カルマ。
You know? You see, waves, that means continuously it moves, isn't it? Now, it's not still, calm and quiet. It's continuously, there's the action. Continuously there's action in it, movement in it. Now, similarly, when we are working, we are always moving. So then that's a similarity. As the waves continuously, when if the water of the lake is just still, then there's no wave. And when the wave means there's some sort of movement will be there because of wind or whatever it may be like that. So then the still water becomes, so to say, it moves like that, takes the form of wave. So then that stillness disappears. So wave means then some sort of movement, activity. So when we work, we are in the same position. When we are taking rest, we don't move. But when we work, then naturally either our body or our senses or our mind or intelligence, it moves, isn't it? So that's the opposite to relaxation. Relaxation is a stage of stillness. But action is a stage of movement, activity. That's why we use the two words. Are you relaxing or are you working? So relaxation is a stage of stillness. Working is a stage of movement. So then this wave stands for Karma Yoga.
海の波は常に動いている。私たちも仕事するときにいつも体を動かしているので、仕事、カルマヨガの例えです。湖の水は静かなときに動きがない、波がないので、休んでいる雰囲気ですけれども、波が起こるとそこは波及して影響が出ます。だから私たちは、勤怠という言葉を使って働いているか休んでいるか、カルマヨガの、象徴です。
Then there is lotus. Now what lotus stands for what? Mita? Padma ফুল কিসের প্রতীক? Bhaktir pratik. So it's a symbol of bhakti. Why? Because as you know, when we worship the Lord, in ritualistic worship, flowers are definitely used, and there are different types of flowers. So obviously lotus is a special flower. So then lotus has been chosen to symbolize bhakti. So that's the connection. So then lotus stands for bhakti yoga.
Why lotus was chosen, Maharaj?
As I said, for the worship, different types of flowers.
Yes.
And among different types of flowers, lotus has a very special position. Lotus, because of so many petals are there. Then you see, its shape is also beautiful, and then it has also honey inside. So of course, every flower has honey, but so naturally among all the flowers, the lotus has something very special. So that's why lotus has been chosen to symbolize bhakti yoga.
続いて、ハスの花ですね、バクティの象徴です。礼拝するときに私たちはたくさんの種類の花を使っているんですけれども、その中に一番特別な花、ハスの花が、採用されています。非常に美しくて花びらがたくさんあり、中にも蜂蜜も入っておりますので、バクティの象徴として選ばれました。
And then the swan stands for what? Paramatman. So the swan, the great swan, stands for Paramatman, the Supreme Self. So with this combination of all these yogas, then you attain the Paramatman, then you realize the Paramatman. And it is written at the bottom, Tat tanno hangsa prachodayat. It is written in Sanskrit. That means, let that swan give us the supreme knowledge. That's the prayer. So Swami Vivekananda, when he was in the West, he explained this to an artist. And the artist then, designed this symbol. This is the history of this symbol. So it was in the West, one Western artist. He just gave this painted this. So, because an artist is, you should know then this. So, Tanhangsa Prachodayat. So, O Supreme, that Swan, you give us the supreme knowledge.
そして白鳥はパラマートマ、最高の自己を、意味しています。スワミ・ビベカナンダは西洋に滞在した時にある、西洋人の学家にその、表書の説明をして彼が描きました。で一番下にサンスクリット語で、
タンノハンサプラチョダヤトタッナハンサハプラチョダヤ。So then it becomes Tanno Hangsa Prachodayat.
白鳥様、私たち、を最高の
Supreme Self. Swan.
Yeah. Shall I say Swan or Supreme Self?
Supreme Self.
最高の自己よ、私たちを最高の知識へ導いてください。
Okay. Now, how to combine these four yogas? Just to give you an example, if you just take for example our daily schedule of our Ramakrishna Mission centers. Daily schedule, you have a daily schedule which you follow in our Ramakrishna Mission. So first what we do, we get up in the morning and then we come to the shrine and we meditate. So the meditation, that means it's a practice of Raja Yoga. It's a practice of Raja Yoga, meditation. Okay? Then what we do some chanting, we do some Bhagavad Gita reading, and then all this we do some japa. So these are all as a part of practice of bhakti, and not at all. We also morning Mangalarati is there, morning. So Mangalarati means Arati. So we then way before the Lord our incense stick, and then oil lamp is also lighted. So these are all rituals. So these are the parts of what? Bhakti yoga. You say rituals, some sort of rituals, then chanting the name of God. So this is Bhakti yoga, job, Bhakti yoga. Then what's about that? The third part is when, you see, we are not salarymen, but we also do works. So we have also different types of work. If you one day you live in Kyokai, then you understand how many types of works we have. Of course, the devotees, not the monks only do. So many devotees are coming and helping, including cooking, then gardening work, then cleaning, then sentaku, then say flower decoration, and then itself, for example, this arranging the meeting. So, and then obviously if you in my room, then you'll understand so many phone calls are coming, attending. Then we publish newsletter. Our Mr. Gupta is a sleeping editor of it. No, are you sleeping? No, it's okay. He's okay. So he's the editor now. Before Lonisa had done that work for many years. So that newsletter is there. So then we have to edit, and then we have our bi-monthly magazine. So then what type of articles will be published, who will translate, then what will be the design. So that's the publication. Then when publish new books. So many things are there. Any publication, as you know, how to produce this book, what book will be published, what is the title, what is the design, then who will the printer, and finally how to market it, including that. In publication center, each has a department. But in Kyokai only we are one or two. So we have to do the whole things with the help, of course, of devotees. But what I said, to give you an idea amount of work, then celebration, Sri Ramakrishna celebration. So many things we have to arrange, including cooking. The lady behind Sophia, so she will be for 4 days and 5 days, though he has so much physical pain and all these things, she will come and she will work, and our Japanese devotees, Indian devotees will help. So to feed them. So only lecture will not fill in their stomach. So food is necessary. So this type of works are there. Then then arranging the meeting, then a person who will worship, then worship articles has to be cleaned. Lots and lots of works are there. Then the decoration, Shanti Sama is there, so she is in charge of decoration, garland. So many. So as I say, when you just attend, you see, for example, when a person goes to a restaurant to eat, he just pays the money and eats and go. He doesn't know how much preparation is necessary to make the food ready, isn't it? So he see only the food, but how much preparation is necessary? Those who come to and attend our ceremony and go back, they do not have much idea how much time, how much energy, how much money, and how many people are involved in making this type of event. So you understand now? So it's just by imagining only it will happen, or actual work, you need work. So then I believe you have some idea that we are not leading an idle life here. The monks are here, they're just eating and sleeping. It's not like that. We are also doing some works.
Below the staircase, when it was in the repair, some persons were repairing the staircase, no? When we go behind the kyokai,
Repairing the steps. Steps.
So the persons who were working, so one of them asked me, so the devotees who come here, so do they do meditation from morning to evening?
瞑想のために信者は瞑想のためにだけ来てますか？ No, そうではない。They also work, so many help in work and all that. So what I just want to impress you, that this is how we do Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga means all the devotees come here not for, they don't expect any money or recognition, they just work. And the devotees, especially in Japan, as you know, they work and work silently. So anyway, so this is how we practice Karma Yoga, thinking that it's Lord's work. And we are working as the Lord's agent or Lord's instrument. So this is how we practice Karma Yoga. Leo, I think it's quite long, but don't worry, you summarize it. And then the finally is this, the Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga, how you practice? Every the devotees and now monks of this Ramakrishna Mission and Ashram, they are always advised to discriminate between the real and the unreal, absolute and the relative, so that they become free from attachment and they more focus on the truth. So that is, one can understand from outside, but this is an internal practice. So they do it. At the same time, we study scriptures. So, Upanishad class is held. Then the Bhagavad Gita is held at the Indian Embassy. This is how we practice Jnana Yoga. This is a part of practicing Jnana Yoga. So in that way, Swamiji made the schedule of the Ramakrishna Mission to be followed by each center of the Ramakrishna in such a way that all these 4 yogas are combined. You understand it? And that is how we are practicing the harmony of all yogas.
But there are just a few exceptions, like Mayavati.
That's all. I am not talking of the exceptions. So our general schedule is this. And just by following this particular schedule, one can realize God. That's the interesting part of it. One need not go to Himalaya or do not go to Alsi, like some place to meditate, go to cave and forest. Just by following this schedule of the Ramakrishna, this ashram, with devotion and understanding. Two things are necessary. With devotion and understanding. Why are you doing it? And doing it sincerely, with devotion. Only these two things. And of course, I think this will cover everything. So follow this routine days after days, and we are doing it. We have no particular holidays, in our Ramakrishna, in our ashram, no holidays. Every day is our working day. Of course, one day there's some silence is there, Monday, but works are continuing, even there is a silence is there. So every day is a work day, working day. So what I mean, so if one follows this routine every day with devotion and with understanding, why are you doing it? Why are you practicing? That we practicing all these yogas, then that's enough to realize the goal of yoga. So that's the beauty of it. And another thing, the same schedule can be followed not only in ashram, but in one's private house also. So one can make the schedule, one's schedule in such a way, even the household devotees, they just can practice it. Rather, it is easier for them to practice rather than emphasizing too much on Jnana Yoga or too much on Bhakti Yoga or too much on Raja Yoga. Long time meditation they cannot do. So in that way, so that's the beauty of it, and the interesting part of it, that not only the monks in ashram, the household devotees in their own home also can practice this, combine these four yogas, and then finally achieve the goal. So that I wanted to, I want to give emphasis on it. So don't think it's on ashram routine and it's possible on ashram. Why? There are many devotees who can follow a schedule in that way. They'll sit, wait for meditation in the morning and evening. They do some chanting of Bhagavad Gita, and they also do yoga, and they also do discrimination. So there's no problem at all. There's no problem of want of time. Whatever time you have, you just, use it methodically. That's what is needed. And do it with, as I said, devotion and understanding. So here is as you say, Swamiji's, this designing of this combining four yogas, the unique thing, I should say. Traditionally, all these yogas are there. But for the first time, in Bhagavad Gita, it's also there. But it's not clearly, it's not explicit how it can be practiced. But Swamiji's schedule of this Ramakrishna mission actually illustrates how you can combine these four yogas. Actually, you get the point? In Gita is also there. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga, there. But for the first time, Swamiji actually illustrated how one can combine these four yogas in one's day-to-day life. Is it not something interesting? Is it not something novel which Swamiji did? Think busvarcho, ki eta how unique it is. So Leo, be brief. And then we'll finish the first part of the session. And the second part, what is common to all yogas, we not yet took up because time is there. So we'll do it in the next afternoon session.
So say, read the four yogas, come to Kyokai often.
No, so that's it. At their home also they can practice.
And you'll understand. はい。これらの4つのヨガの調和の仕方が、簡単に分かるために、例えばこちらの教会にいらしていただくと、1日過ごしますと分かります。朝早く起きて瞑想します。それはラジャヨガ。その後、マントラを唱えたり、ジャッパを繰り返したり、ギータを朗読 したりすると、
マンガラルティ
あとマンガラリティもありますね。それはバクティヨガ、儀式的な礼拝が行われます。仕事は教会には講話の話を聞きに来て食べて帰る方々はその準備のための大変さが、あんまり把握してないかもしれないけれども、大変な準備が必要です。大きな行事の前に、例えば
examples not
はい
necessary, just
じゃあ、いろんな準備が必要です。で、アシュラマの中にたくさんの活動があります。調理、庭の仕事、会議の準備でしたり、電話あったり、あと出版もしてるし、翻訳も雑誌も出してるし、たくさんの普通に目には見えない仕事があります。
there's so many outdoor retreat and then so many things are there. Anyway,
声もありますので、お坊さんは、休んでるばっかりではなくて
食べると休み
ではなくて一生懸命働いています。ギャナヨガは、
of course it's done with the help of many devotees.
たくさんの信者の、助けを借りて、はい、こちらのアシュラマの運営しております。ギャナヨガはいつも信者は識別するように、促しておりまして、永遠と一時的なもの、実際と非実際の識別、内的内省分析を行うことで実践しています。あと聖典の勉強と、ギターのクラスも行っておりますので、そこでギャナヨガの実践しております。これで4つのヨガがカバーされております。ラマクリシナミッションのアシュラマのスケジュールはスワミ・ビベカナンダが皆さんは自分の本書を悟るために作っておりますので、それに従うだけで悟りが可能です。ヒマラヤ、に行かなくても、洞窟に行かなくても、ただこちらのスケジュールを愛と理解と方針の精神を持って従うだけで、悟りを開くことができるでしょう。でこちらは、アシュラマだけでなく、加住者の自宅でも実践可能です。朝起きて瞑想をしてギター読んだり、夕方戻ってくると瞑想を行ったり、勉強をしたりすることが可能で、空いてる時間を効率よく使うことで、はい、実践が可能です。そして私たちが、毎日ギターを読んでるんですけれども、ギターではその4つのヨガの調和の仕方について明記していないので、スワミジの特別な、世界のための貢献はこの4つのヨガをどのように調和できるかを分かりやすくまとめて話したことです。はい、以上です。
Okay, so now this age of all, you see, everything made easy. So now this realization made easy by following, Swamiji invented this yoga made easy, by which one can realize the truth. So just follow the schedule, and with, as I said, devotion and understanding. This is very important. Understand why I am doing it, and what is the efficacy of it, what's the connection of it. This understanding is very important. Not do it blindly, then you will know result. So these are two important criteria. 理解して一生懸命やる。そうして我々は悟りもできます。これが最後まで、死ぬまで。これがまずクライテリア。until last. OK? ありがとうございます。りょう。Thank you so much. OK, 皆さん、go for lunch.
There's also evening session, isn't it?